decided that, we're gonna have to get on there about this Wednesday stuff.
That's kind of unusual, isn't it? That's my question. How is this written on Wednesday?
That would be Mayor Burnett.
We needed to meet before Monday night.
Yeah.
We could have been before the Lord meeting.
Mayor took your bell on us too. She's going,
She's gone.
she's out of town, yeah, leaving right now.
This week handles that in many ways. So this is the order it's going. And they're gonna go guidelines with the other one, or they can say that.
Well, let's call it order. Discuss that.
I've seen somebody else go around through there. Michelle's not coming.
She's not.
Is everybody really concerned? Ready? I'm ready to start then. Call the meeting of Planning Commission to order, please. First of all, I'd like to recognize our new member right here, Mr. Mark Oaktree. Glad to have you with us. Okay. Do I need to, I don't need a minutes, do we? Okay, we have one item on this call meeting, and I'll turn it over to Tommy to explain it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So what we have here is a proposed ordinance to the zoning ordinance, which would amend the current statute regarding the allowance of food trucks in the central business district. Currently, there is a cap, there's a limited number of days that food trucks are allowed to operate within the central business district. And due to the rising requests for food trucks to be able to operate, the mayor has requested that the planning commission consider an ordinance to basically remove the cap that will allow food trucks to operate 7 days a week, as I understand it. So it would just be a permitted use in the central business district. That would be the only district that it would be allowed. And just for clarification, central business district is the downtown area and a few blocks outside of that. And so what happens is we consider the ordinance, and then we make a recommendation either in favor of or against amending the ordinance. It goes to the council regardless of our recommendation. So tonight we're here to pass that recommendation on to the council, either in favor of or in opposition to. And I'll certainly take any questions regarding this proposal.
Anyone have any questions for Tommy?
Yeah.
It's not
It's not working, that's fine.
Right.
Obviously, this doesn't have any restrictions in there whatsoever. I'm sure there must be license and things like that that's written up someplace else. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah, all we're determining is the number of days of operation and where they can be located. With regards to fees and, specific places and other things, I'm sure that will be addressed by the city council. The zoning ordinance typically does not address things like that. And hours of operation obviously are going to be addressed, I would imagine, with that. So, again, all we're considering is where and how many days.
And where, in this case, being the central business
That is
district,
correct. Yes,
which
sir.
is what, 2 or 3 blocks. each
Yeah,
side.
it's basically the square and then extended for 3 or 4 blocks in each direction.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Does that, excuse me, does that run all the way on East and West Main Street?
I want to say I don't think it quite goes triangle to triangle, but it's pretty close to that.
What about
You talking about on Church Street, and Spring Street? Maybe I think maybe it goes to the funeral home on I don't know what direction that would
Church
be.
Street.
Church Street, and then it goes all the way through the storage units on McHenry and Spring.
I would even suggest they could go a little further if they wanted to. It seems like there's other spaces that would be good to get it away from perhaps some of the restaurants downtown even.
Mm. Maybe to the, out as far as 111 out there on Church. I mean, is that too far? Does it matter?
Well, I mean, I think that's certainly something that could be addressed at some point, for sure. I think right now, I think that the goal of the council, the way I understood it from Mayor Burnett, is just to lift the restrictions of 1 to 2 days a week or however many it is. And then expansion is always a possibility of getting it out of the central business district.
I think that's great.
I think I've got no objections for them to have 7 days a week, and I'll make a motion that we, extend it to the, 7 days.
You wanna recommend to the council that in favor of the ordinance?
Yes.
Proposed ordinance?
Yes.
Okay.
Can I ask one additional question?
Of
Some
course.
people have been requesting to do it more.
Yes, and
I've never seen the
if it
food
were brought
trucks.
up, I was gonna, we do have 3 requests if this goes through for food trucks.
Good.
So there is proof of the demand.
Well, I don't doubt you, I just haven't.
Yeah, well, I mean, they wanted me to have this in case that question was
Sure.
asked, so.
Sorry, go ahead.
We do have a motion on the floor, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion to approve this ordinance amendment. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
JJ,
I got a question too.
okay, discussion? Okay.
Would they have, I mean, I know the city probably put regulations in, or we may have to do that later or whatever, but would they be on right of way? I mean, who's gonna regulate where they go? Can they just come to the square and set up?
Codes enforcement officer will regulate where they sit up. And, you know, I mean, to me, typically food trucks set up in parking lots.
Right,
So
so that's private property.
yes, sir. And so, I mean,
But that was my question, could they set up on city property, the ballpark, city parking lots, or, you know, does that?
I don't know the answer to that.
And that was my first thought when I saw this, it's kind of being on detail, but
I mean, you know.
based on what Tommy's saying, that's not in our wheelhouse.
On right of way, on, you know.
Well, as of right now, they wouldn't be able to set up the ballpark because that's not in the central business district.
Well, that's true, but I mean, if you expand it and all that, and you know, and I know state right away, they're not allowed.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
So, but that's something we can certainly discuss if they request us to look at expanding that territory.
Anybody in the audience, questions or statements?
So outside the central business district, can you set up on a, you know, like the bank, I know they have a food truck the other day.
Not as of right now.
Okay, okay. Yes.
And since we're council, excuse me, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I thought you were through.
No, go ahead.
Now, when we discussed this in one of the workshop meetings, we were talking about they could use the parking area at the Central Park and the unloading area for the vans and stuff at Central Park, but not use city electricity.
Yes, sir. And both of those, are not on any right of way. They're on city property located within the central business district.
So with those food trucks, would they need to request that space, or is it first come, first served, or how does that process work?
That'll be a question that would be asked to the city council. We're simply we have a motion to remove the restrictions of only 1 to 2 days a week, or however many that there is.
That's really all it is in our area at this point.
Cause currently, right now, it's the first and third Thursday and Fridays, right?
The way that I understand it.
Yes.
And this should just make it 7 days a week.
But unlike you, it'll be a free-for-all, to who gets, you know.
Yeah.
but
In that small space.
Evidently, that's the council to put that in, so.
Okay, anyone else?
Yeah, I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now you see these food trucks, okay. Now, I seen some of these food trucks, cool, some of them's got a trailer hook behind them, you know, where they pull it with. Some of them's got a one big long truck that does it. I've seen them. Okay, and the next question is, if you live, say, if I live in the city, okay? If I got property on the city limits, okay, in the city, in town, okay? If they come over and ask me if there's a vacant spot, are they gonna ask the property owner and say, hey, can we park our food truck here on your property? If it's all right, if you pay city taxes, can they park the truck on your property? If it's okay with the city with it? Cause if you're paying city taxes, I don't see why they just can't go ahead and do it like that. I mean, if you're paying city taxes, why can't they do it?
Well, the proposal in front of us tonight, sir, is for the central business district only. If they, you know, but there's nothing that says that they couldn't expand after, you know, further than that at a later time. But right now, our proposal is simply for the central business district.
I got one, I will piggyback off his question. Okay, so in the central business district, if you ask the proprietors of the business in there, if you could just use their allotted parking areas or something, just to make your food truck, would that be acceptable, do you think?
That, and I hate to keep kicking the can down the road. I don't know any of the parameters behind it, other than strictly to remove the restriction on the number of days and the location, which is the central business district.
Okay.
And again, I promise I'm not trying to
Oh, I understand.
blow you off and get the can down the road, but I don't know the answer to that
I
question.
mean, so, the most desirable spot for this would be Central Park. Right, I mean, cause that's gonna be the central business district, so if a food truck was gonna set up, let's just say in that Central Park, the city owns that gravel parking lot down there, right? So that would be, if we said, we agreed at 7 days a week, that would open up, with the city's permission, that would open up people to go and set up.
Possibly,
and
yes.
market.
Yeah.
If that's in the central, that may be out down there,
I believe it goes all the way.
down there.
Yes, sir. I believe.
I just-
If they choose to expand it, they could expand it down here to include the farmer's market area,
Absolutely.
perhaps the area down there, city garage, that would make sense as well, I would think.
Yeah, that's farm group there, would be great.
But again, that's all for the council, not us.
Just verify.
That's how we say it, that's the county.
Right.
We don't need to get into it.
Okay, I've got a motion and a second for this ordinance change. I'm coming to call for a vote.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. What we have is a motion from Bruce Elder to recommend the proposed ordinance, which will allow for food trucks to operate in the central business district as a permitted use. We have a second by J.J. Hobbs. Does everybody understand the motion on the floor? Vote of yes or aye will affirm the motion. A vote of no or nay will be a negative recommendation to the council. Robert John.
Aye.
Lori Richards. J.J. Hobbs. Bruce Elder. Rick McDonald. Mark Ogletree. Mr. Chairman, the motion passes with a vote of all ayes. This will be recommended to the council, where it will be heard at the next council meeting, which I believe is Monday night.
Bruce, you better be ready.
Yeah, no kidding.
Okay, anything else? That's all we can do.
That's all we can do, yes, sir.
I need a motion to adjourn.
Here, I'm so.
Second.
Got it? All in favor, say aye. Thank you very much for coming out on Wednesday.
You see, buddy. Doing well.
Y'all have a good day.